So today we're here to talk about behavior. And when we talk about behavior, we could be talking about many different things. Behavior encompasses basically everything we do as adults, children, adolescents, everyone. Everything we do that we can observe is called a behavior. But today we're going to specifically talk about maladaptive behavior. And what is maladaptive behavior? This is the type of behavior that usually a child exhibits and is meant to produce a result. But why is it maladaptive? It's maladaptive because this is not the type of behavior that we want to see in order to achieve that result. For example, I may have this habit of punching walls to soothe myself, to make myself calmer. Maybe, once I punch the wall, I just feel a sense of calm within myself, but that would not be a very desirable behavior. What we want to see is a behavior kind of like having tea or meditating or just sitting back and breathing and achieving calmness with that and not with punching the walls. Punching the walls is a maladaptive behavior. When we talk about very young children, the maladaptive behavior that we want to eliminate most times is tantrums. What are tantrums? So tantrums have a meaning. When a child is having a tantrum, basically, that child wants something, wants attention, wants a certain object. The child wants something and is trying to achieve what he or she wants. So in a way, tantrums do have a function. And the function is fine. Wanting attention from a parent or from a caregiver is okay. Wanting something to play with, a particular toy, is okay. Even wanting something that we can't have is still okay. All these things are fine. But requesting them via means of a tantrum, that's not okay. And even though we see tantrums in normally developing children, that's very, very, very common, is not something that we want to perpetuate or even reinforce, because if we continue to see these tantrums, that may mean more problems down the line. And we want to eliminate these problems, and we want to do it as soon as possible. So how do we eliminate tantrums? We have to be very, very clear and very, very consistent with what we message, with what we convey to the child. Consistency and clarity are keys to being able to get rid of those tantrums once and for all. When trying to eliminate tantrums for your child, for your toddler, there are 5 things that you need to keep in mind. Number 1, you want to make sure that your child is okay. You want to make sure there are no dangerous things around him or her. Sometimes when children are having tantrums, they try to throw themselves on the floor or kick or do things that are dangerous, and they can be dangerous themselves. Make sure that there is nothing around your child that can be dangerous so he or she can get hurt. Make sure that the tantrum is not happening because they're very hungry or they are wet or there's something really physical bothering them. I hate when parents tell me that children are having tantrums and really they're just having a very high fever, and parents have not been able to realize that was the case. So make sure that your child is okay first. Make sure nothing is happening physically with your child and then there's nothing around them that can be dangerous. Number 2, tell them as they're having a tantrum, talk to them. Don't yell at them. Don't give them any more attention than what you would in any other situation. But just talk to them. Tell them, when you calm down, we will talk about what you want or what you need. Express to them in a very, very calm voice what you want to achieve. Number 3, once you have told them what you want from them or what the calmness that you expect for them to be able to get what they want, ignore the tantrum. If you yell or scream or do anything else, you're basically reinforcing it. You're telling your child that it's okay to have this tantrum. We don't want to in any way, shape, or form convey that a tantrum is okay. You want to ignore the tantrum. And by ignore, I do mean watch them. Make sure they're not getting in trouble. But do not in any way, shape, or form engage with your child unless you're calm. What does this do? This extinguishes the behavior. It's just like letting a flame run its course. Eventually, the flame is going to extinguish if there isn't enough oxygen in the room. Number 4, you want to model the behavior that you want to achieve. So for example, if your child is having a really bad tantrum, you might want to sit next to your child and play with a toy. Or you might want to talk to somebody that's there with you while your child's having a tantrum. You want to model this behavior that you want to achieve in your child. Make sure that there's an alternative that you want to show so that your child is not left with nothing to grab onto. When you show them the alternative, when you're playing, when you're talking calmly to someone, you are telling your child, this is acceptable. This is what I want you to do. This is how you get what you want. Number 5. And of course, after your child is starting to extinguish a tantrum and you experience even a few seconds of calm, you need to reinforce it. The moment that your child stops and doesn't cry or doesn't kick or doesn't do anything that's not what we want, you look at your child and you go, wonderful, what do you want? Can we talk about what you need? But immediately, even if it's just a look or a clap or a hug or just a little pat in the back, anything that's going to show your child that this is the behavior that you want. And once this starts to happen, and you start reinforcing the good, when you start looking at him or her, when he's behaving or she's behaving the way you want, you're going to get more and more and more of what you want. Please keep in mind that this is going to take some time. There is nothing about modifying behavior or changing behavior that happens overnight. None of this happens overnight. It takes a long time, but you have to remember this every single time your child is having a tantrum. Why? Because reinforcing a tantrum sometimes is worse than reinforcing it every time. And if you don't believe me, just look at the people that go to casinos. Those people, when they play on the slot machines, they get reinforced sometimes. And because they get reinforced sometimes, their behavior tends to become addictive over time. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to know more about behavior, I'm going to leave a link down here of a course that you can take on how to map out behavior and how to learn more about how to eliminate your child's tantrums once and for all. Good luck! See you next time.